Hi, welcome to the 1 Liter Podcast. You will watch us drinking 1 liters of beer whilst talking about shies. Please like and subscribe. Welcome to the 1 Liter.
Prost.
Prost.
Prost. Ayo.
No 1 liter, but we're doing whiskeys.
Yeah.
Peanut butter whiskey
Milliliters.
milliliters.
I was drinking with Lucas yesterday. Where is he from? I can't remember, but it was like Nostrovia or something. That was their cheers. So whatever that is.
Cheers.
Hey.
peanut butter whiskey. What do you guys think?
I'm not averse
Smells
to a liter
delicious.
of it.
You could drink
Oh
a
my
liter
god,
of
that is
this,
so smooth.
isn't it?
You do not need a mixer for that, people.
There's
Peanut
the flavor.
butter flavored whiskey. What's that?
There's the flavor. Draws like a pencil.
Well, I mean, this is post boat party. If you've been
Post-boat
following our story, our episodes, we were prepping for this boat party for ages. This
Gearing
was meant
up.
to be our final back to drinking, but we started drinking well before the boat party again.
Yeah.
So the New Year's resolution didn't last very long.
Mm.
But how was that? Yacht Social.
First of all, how did the tanning go? I think that's what we need to kind of circle back on.
I put 2 coats of the I thought it was Saint Tropez. It's Saint Tropez.
Yeah.
Saint-Tropez. Welcome
Yeah.
to Saint-Tropez.
I thought it was nice. Like it, maybe if I put it on more liberally, I would have been a bit darker. But it was enough for me where I didn't look translucent.
Yeah.
Like a jellyfish. So yeah, I liked it. I will certainly put more on.
It wasn't like the full Jersey Shore.
We didn't.
Looks
You-
pretty natty.
Yeah, you didn't
Looks pretty
quite look
natty.
like
Yeah,
Jeff, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was somewhat semi-brown, but I am a boat person, so
Yeah.
that's a thing, you know.
Well,
Half Indonesian, so
oh, okay.
came here. Well, I guess
Came-
like a raft person is what you call
Not
it.
quite a boat.
Yeah.
But that was, I mean, you were not prepared for swimming either. So
I
Jeff,
don't know,
wore-
something. Okay, so
All right.
next time I'd probably read the group chat, read the instructions, really know what I'm getting myself into. I was like, yeah, there's a boat, right? There's a barbecue. We're having a barbecue on a boat. There's meat. I'm like, okay, I'll just dress accordingly. Pants, shirt,
Wow.
tuck
so-
them in,
You
right?
were the best dressed person on that
Thank
boat.
you
Oh, yeah.
so much. I pride
100%.
myself on looking like a human being. So,
100%.
thank you.
Wait, so that you've been laboring under the idea that there was going to be no swimming involved?
Well, I didn't know. I didn't really think about it because we're on a boat. I'm like, there's sharks in the ocean. Why would anyone get in that water?
I can't argue with that logic. That's fair.
And then everyone got in the water. So, or at least everyone was dressed looking like they would get in the water. Like, so, I mean, not
And then
everyone
they did.
So, next time, now I know.
No,
Now I know.
Well, just so people can picture it, Jeff was wearing 3/4 white chino pants, were they?
So, when we say 3/4, like, there's ankle shine, but not quite pirate pants, right? We're not
Yeah.
look like they're just like some cuff chinos. We got some like what would you call those shoes? They're like the woven
Loafers.
leather.
They're boat
The-
shoes.
Boat shoes.
Loafers.
And then the green stripy button up Ralph Lauren was just looking slick.
Yeah.
Tucked in shirt, ready to teach. I'm always ready to go. Always dressed like a narc.
Do you know what Bill Clinton's nickname was when he was in office? Slick Willie.
What?
Slick Willie.
Why?
Like Bill is
oh,
short
Bill,
for
Bill is
William.
Will, right?
So
and he
like,
was
yeah.
always
William,
slick.
yes, of course.
Jeff was on that fucking Clinton swagger, slick.
Slick.
I don't know what it is. I put a shirt on. I just have to tuck it in, and when I don't have it tucked in, I'm like, I feel like sloppy, and I'm like,
Oh,
how do
for
I be
sure.
casual now? And now I'm just even like this is a Sunday, and I'm dressed like a narc. So.
And you had to
Narcos.
wear that Ralph Lauren because it's the only green.
It was
thing
the
you
only
own
green thing
in
I own.
St.
And
Patty's Day.
yeah, and because this whole time I thought it was your birthday or something. That's
Yeah.
why I was like, I'll make an effort. I'll fly down.
Yeah.
And then get this St. Patrick's Day group chat thing. I was like,
And turns out it was a different Emily organizing
it
all.
was a different Emily. Yeah.
Yeah, you're like,
wear a green
for real,
shirt.
right?
Everyone has to
Yeah.
wear green. I'm like, cool. I own one green shirt. Luckily, it's a nice one. So
Can I also say that I felt like all the non-Irish people on our boat were going hard with the green, and most of the Irish people were like not really making an effort with the green.
Yeah, they
Like,
were
come
just
on.
like green shorts, like you and I. Like
Yeah.
Joel had proper green swim shorts. I had like olive khaki shorts. I had these khaki shorts on, and then I put a khaki button up.
Hell yeah.
And you're like, we're not leaving the fucking house.
Yeah,
if you're
pretty
gonna-
much.
I
Came
looked.
in, he goes, "Is this too much?"
Like, right, Philip, you look
Yes.
like a fucking idiot. Yeah.
Look
Yeah.
at SAS, like you're going into combat with those sharks.
Yeah, I looked like I was about to go
Yeah.
hunting some snakes or
It's
something.
sharks, not crocodiles. Philip.
Yeah.
Grow up.
Yeah.
I got to say though, there is a huge stigma around budgie smugglers, but you pulled it
What's
off
the
so
stigma?
well. It's just like, oh, he's wearing budgie smugglers. I don't want to see that.
Nah, that's an old stigma, dude.
I think if my
budgie
penis was big
smugglers-
enough.
Yeah, but
Budgie
bro,
would be
smugglers now is
smuggling
like
budgies.
that guy that was dancing on the floaty thing.
yeah,
Like he was not in the shape to be wearing budgies,
It
but it's a
wasn't.
funny.
It's the confidence.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's I like you just want to just go up and smack that cake, right? As well.
yeah, yeah.
Oh, pop
You-
him right in
you-
the booty just for being out there with it.
It's the comedic side. I reckon I first wore not budgie smugglers the brand, but like speedos
Mm.
in Brazil. So like I bought them
Perfect
specifically
place to get
for
away
a
with
boat
it.
place that we were doing in Brazil, and it happened because it was a part of a Kentucky. It just happened to land on my birthday that we were going on this boat in Brazil, and we were like out in the water. You could see like the Jesus
Statue.
de Janeiro, yeah, and it was a great time, and we were all doing backflips into the water and having a good time. And then we like floated upstream a little bit, like a little further along. And then we were like, oh, we should not have swam in this water. There was just like dead fish carcasses and all this disgusting shit. We're like, yeah, we're getting sick. We're all getting sick.
Is the Amazon
Hell
the?
yeah.
Is it? They have the bugs that crawl up your urethra if you urinate in the water. Is it?
I think
those?
that might be in the Amazon rainforest. Like if you're in the Amazon River,
Yeah.
wading around hunting for anacondas or something.
Mm.
There's some crazy stories with that.
This is
man.
just crabs trying to eat your toenails and shit. It's-
Yeah.
That's fine. That's everyday behavior. We
Just
can
a
deal
little
with that.
nibble. It's
Yeah,
fine.
that's
Yeah.
fine.
Oh, dude, there's guys that go out there specifically to find like species that haven't been found of either anacondas or anything. And they say like they wear these big like rubber pantsuit things, and then they got to tuck their boots in and everything. And he's like, if you get a leak, you're screwed, because if something crawls up your suit, you might get bitten 5 times that it goes up your leg while you're trying to get it out. And then you're like, I don't know what that was. Could be a completely new species. I don't know what I've been bitten by.
Yeah.
You're screwed out there.
Just for once.
And then they do it at night.
Just for once, I wish
By
we could find a
choice.
species where if it bites you, you're like, oh, I don't have leukemia anymore or something crazy. You know, like
Yes.
give us something cool,
Yeah.
God.
I feel really fucking strong for 3 minutes.
Yeah.
And it's like you could just hit a PR and bench and then you get sick.
That'd be
Yeah.
sick.
I would have a pet one of whatever that is.
Yeah, it'd be like,
Yeah.
right, everyone's like
Keep
up there
that
like
with me.
ammonia, they're like sniffing salt and stuff. I've got like a snake that just bites me and I'm like,
You
all
just
right.
poke it a few times.
Hit that
anger
PR
it.
and then you're like, all right, cool. I need to go to the hospital real quick. I'll come back and I'll finish that set later.
Has anyone ever tried smelling salts before? Have you?
Yeah.
Have you?
Yeah,
Ha-
yeah.
No, I
have
never
you
have.
owned a cat before? It's like you don't empty the litter box for like a week.
Oh, really?
That's it. That's
Yeah.
essentially it's ammonia. That's it.
Is
Oh,
that
it's
what it is?
ammonia.
That's what it smells like. It's just
Oh,
the
so it's
smell
like
of
a-
cat piss.
like a. Oh,
So you've done the ammonia.
Yeah, I've done it
Before.
at home because my parents had some, and we always used to, as kids, be like, "Oh, let's have a sniff of
Yeah.
this." And then my old weightlifting coach had me use it a couple times,
Oh.
like ahead of a PR.
he's like, I own 3 cats. This is homemade.
Just like stings the
It's
nostrils.
so
It really wakes you up,
stringent.
though.
Yeah, it's.
It's a good time.
No, I've never tried it.
I gotta say, I was surprised that no one wore that Borat green.
The man.
Oh,
The mankini, 'cause that-
Are we still doing that? Is that?
Yeah.
Is that still a thing? I think that's been replaced by the budgies.
True.
They're more legit. They're more Australian, you know? Australian brand, rep it.
we're in our 30s now. Joke's over.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember being young and my dad, that's what he would wear. That was like his swim trunks. And we were like, Dad, you can't wear that.
What? Sorry, the Borat.
No.
I was getting visuals there.
Speedos.
Yeah,
Photo.
Speedos. So they
Oh,
were like,
okay.
that's like normal. Germany, they're everywhere.
Mm.
In Europe, that's just what they wear because, and once you try it and you jump in the water with Speedos or budgie smugglers, you know exactly why, because there's just so much freedom. And then you get out, you don't have wet shorts hanging off your legs and you're like,
Yeah.
oh, I feel great. Dry off, put some shorts over the top, settled. It's like what girls experience all the time with their bikinis, except us guys. We're just like, nah, I want a liter of water hanging off my
I want
waist.
pockets to put sand in.
Let's get real.
What are we putting in these pockets when we go in the water, right? Because it's like salt water. You're taking everything out of your pockets. I don't want anything to get rusty. I'm not keeping my keys in there. What am I keeping in there? What do I need pockets for on these board shorts? I'm not wearing them to the
These
shop.
I
Serious
have
questions.
tied like a when I used to have a Corolla that didn't have electric keys, I would tie that shit inside the little strap in one of the boardy pockets
Yeah, yeah.
and then go and swim in the ocean. But the whole time you're just paranoid. It's like you get hit by a big wave and you're like, yeah, my car keys are
Yeah.
still here. It's all
And
good.
then you come out
Not
of the water
worth
and
it.
it's like you bubbles in your pockets and you look like a fucking idiot.
Yeah. Yeah, buoyancy. I gotta ask though, like I always get so uncomfortable for women when they're wearing G-strings. Like having something like I don't like wearing thongs because I don't like the feeling of something between my toes. Like I've never worn thongs because of that, or flip-flops to those who aren't Australian. But the idea of having a piece of material between my butt cheeks just seems horrible.
Just flossing its way through.
Yeah,
Slowly
yeah.
grinding away at
Yeah,
my
but I
asshole.
suppose the difference is like as females, you're probably wearing that as underwear normally. So I'm used to having that feeling of
Yeah.
fabric between my bum cheeks.
Fair.
But
So a swimming
underwear is
costume, you
far
just
thinner
feel-
though, right?
Yeah.
Whereas when it's then a bikini, isn't that like a thicker piece of stringy bit?
Doesn't really make much of a difference.
Yeah.
Really?
Not
Yeah.
noticeably.
I suppose we can't, like they do make man G strings, right? But it's a bit different because you got to go
Allegedly.
from string to something that can pocket your balls and
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd feel like it'd be a bit tight too.
It's heaps. You need lots of material for that, probably.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Huge. Probably.
probably for most.
God.
That's why Jeff didn't swim.
Yeah, I was
See.
like,
Too
well,
big.
first I'd have to like unravel everything,
Yeah.
right? Like really just unroll it, and then like, okay, it's a 2-man job. We got to tuck that into the new board shorts, right? Get into the water and try not to displace everyone else in the water. All this mass just hitting the ocean. And so I was like, you know,
bebopping and scatting.
Gojira. Yeah, it's just easier if I stayed on the boat. That's all.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
a new
It's nothing
species.
to do with like sensory overstimulation from like feeling wet and whatever. It's not autism. I swear to God.
Jeff's like Jeff's ancestors, his boat people ancestors are like, stay on the boat. You will drown if you go into the
Yeah.
fucking water.
You can't drive a car. You can't drive. You know,
Mm.
can't swim. You know, it's like the worst kind of Asian.
Mm.
Not good at math. You know.
Not, oh, okay.
Actually,
but
no,
yet you
I'm
teach
actually-
it.
I'm actually pretty brilliant.
Bro, you were in like all the
Oh,
top
okay.
classes in school. Like,
Well, I mean, it was like an academic excellence program, but it's not a big deal. Everyone was in it, probably. Whatever.
nope, not me.
No.
Nope.
No, I was in band class. So that's
See,
how cool I am.
switched to doing music because I was like, why is that building air conditioned? Why is this math building not?
For real.
So,
Did you join the music? Because I was in like 8B, which was like literally the band class.
yeah, no, I was just in the
You're right.
whatever the music course with Ben Wharton,
Yeah.
Ben Wharton.
Mr. Ben Wharton. Because it was like Math C was real hot in that math block, but this is air conditioning music. And what, you could just play guitar with like the teacher and he's like kind of cool, but like too old to like hang out with us.
Yeah. He was on the
But
cusp.
that's good. You need that gap. You know, he's got to be cool and older, so you can just
Yeah.
like, yeah.
Yeah, so he could
Otherwise,
like
it'd be weird.
potentially buy me booze, but he won't because that's against like the law.
Exactly.
But if I asked him, maybe he would.
It's like what I've previously said, and I think I've spoken to Joel about this. When you're in high school, and for instance, in our high school, there was that young PE teacher, and she would have just finished her prac, and us being in like year 11 and 12, we were all just like high testosterone, like, oh my god, she's so hot.
Yeah.
And now
Yeah.
that we're like all in our 30s, and I think back, I'm like, she would have been like 23 or 24. Like she would have just finished uni, become a teacher, done her prac.
And
now
this would
she's
hold up
teaching-
in court, probably.
But like now, if we look at a 23-year-old, we're like, oh, so young, right?
Yeah,
And back
yeah,
then
yeah.
it was like, oh,
That's
she's
exactly
so
what
much older
we
and
probably said.
developed.
Yeah.
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 Crazy.
Yeah, we
Weird to
didn't know.
think.
She's just doing coke on the weekend.
Exactly,
I thought she
yeah,
was so
for
wise, right?
Yeah, we're like, oh my God, she's a teacher.
Stupid hot PE teacher. Oh, God, I hate them all.
Little
You've-
do we know how much drama was in her life.
Oh,
You've
Yes.
mentioned a couple of times, but it's true. Like when I was in my teenage years or younger, and you'd have like a cousin who's or something who you've only seen maybe 4 or 5 times in your entire life, and your mum would be like, "Oh, your cousin Cheryl or someone's just got married and she's living in Sydney and she's just got back from Europe or stuff," and you're like, "Holy shit, that person's just living their life. They're 30 years old and they're living in another state. Whoa, Sydney!" And now we're those people to the younger
Yeah,
generation, you know?
literally.
Yeah.
Or like imagine M's, like younger, people that know her growing up as the older person, and now like, oh my God, she lives in Australia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's been there for 10 years.
Yeah.
She's that person, like that enigma that shows up to visit every few years.
So
like, hi.
adventurous.
And she's like tan and stuff, and everyone's like, oh my God.
Tell us the
and,
stories
and they're
of the
like
foreign
that right
land.
now. So it's more my cousin's kids would be like that.
Yeah.
Because
looking
they
up
only
to
see
you.
me very occasionally, and they're always so interested in like, oh my gosh, Emily from Australia. But it's going to be 10x that when you come along and have an Australian accent and meet them, they're just
Yeah.
going to lose it.
But they probably think you have an Australian accent
Yeah.
now, right? They
Yeah.
Probably.
You sound so strange, whereas
Yeah.
for us, we're like, you're very foreign.
Yeah. Exactly.
You
Yeah.
are a
Yeah.
foreigner.
Yeah.
Let me ask. We'll go around the room, but we'll start with you, Em. If you could go back in time to let's say 16-year-old Emily,
Oh, yeah.
what's one thing you'd tell them to not do in the future?
Not do in the future.
Yeah, like, or you'd give them a warning.
Sage
Let's not do
advice.
advice because that's like can be very cliche. Because we would be like, just be happy, drink more water, da-da-da. But like,
Don't
what's
buy
something-
NFTs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's something you'd go back in time and go, look, I'm only here for a minute. Make sure you don't do this one thing. What do you think you'd say to her?
I know quite easily what it would be.
But it's
What?
a bit too much for
Oh no, I
Okay.
can say it, but probably ending relationships when they should be ended and not putting it off
for real.
for years.
Boundaries.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Big.
good
Yeah,
one.
Huge.
short-term pain for long-term. Like it might
Gain.
be painful in the short term. Don't put it off.
For sure. That's
It's
good
not fair on
advice.
anyone.
Do you think young Em would get that? Would she be like, that's very cryptic, I need more details?
This is the thing, though. I think it's one of those things you have to experience. So
Yeah.
as you can tell someone to you blue in the face,
Yeah.
they need to
Yeah,
experience
because
it and
I would
learn
have.
that.
Yeah, I would have thought about that at the time, but then been like, nah, it'll be fine. Like, what's the worst that can happen? And then in hindsight,
Yeah.
you're like, oh,
Maybe it's bad. Maybe
ideal.
the fact that humans can't go back in time is what is supposed to happen. Because if you do go back in time and you say, watch out for relationships, maybe you'll become convinced that relationships are bad and then you never leave
Mm.
your area and you
Yeah, you
never
probably
meet Phil.
don't
So-
need that advice at that time,
So-
maybe.
Yeah, fuck that idea.
Mm.
I got a different one.
No, I want to hear Jeff's.
Okay.
16-year-old
I got
Jeff.
one more after this as
16-year-old,
well.
yeah. Oh, Jesus. What was I even doing at 16? Not a lot. Thought I was king shit at Call of Duty.
Oh, that was me too.
So, advice for 16-year-old Jeff. You don't need everyone's approval.
Mm.
That's really the biggest thing for me was like the validation, like feeling like I needed the validation from like someone, right? Now I don't give two shits what people think, right?
Oh, yeah.
I'll like...
You're my inspiration because I'm still battling with that.
And like, yeah, I'm like, people say, well, I don't want to upset this person. I need to like do this thing that I don't want to do to make them happy. I'm like, why?
Yeah.
They're not actually going to care. And if they put pressure on you, like they do care, and they feel resentful that you didn't do that thing that you didn't want to do to make them happy,
Mm.
they're the asshole. Why the fuck do you want them around? So that's me now. I'm just like, what makes me, it feels really selfish, but you have to be selfish.
It's not
Mhm.
selfish at all.
It's like putting on the oxygen mask. Like you put yours on first. You take care of yourself before you can take care of anyone else.
Mm.
'Cause if I'm like drowning in resentment and I feel really like uncomfortable and negative because I'm just doing everything to make everyone else happy, then I drown and I can't actually help anyone else. I don't have the capacity for it. So
And you become resentful of others as well.
literally hate people. Yeah.
Yeah.
1000%. And but the problem is your own boundaries. Like, you know, you had every opportunity to say no to someone, then I don't resent them and like everything's fine. But yeah, without that, you let them walk all over you, you hate them for it. Now everyone feels like shit.
Deep. Joel.
That's a great one.
That was really good.
Thank you so much.
I could obviously say the same about Jeff's one, but just for the purpose of creating different ideas, I'd probably tell myself to start studying acting sooner and move to Sydney sooner.
Mm,
Definitely.
good.
Yep. So I'd say as soon as you turn 18 or something, you're 16 now, work your ass off for the next 2 years and then move to Sydney when you're 18,
Mm.
find an agent. Yeah. I wasted
just
so much time.
Accelerate that gap of figuring it out. You can be
Mm.
like, hey, you like acting, go study it right
Mm.
outside it. Like
Quit
as soon as you
playing
leave
music.
school. Yeah.
Yeah, for
Go
sure.
all in when you
Yeah.
got that gut feeling. This is what I should be doing.
Yeah.
Just go
Mm.
for it.
Because I started studying acting when I was 24, but by the time I was 24, I feel like life had piled a lot of its shit on me. So I became very, I wouldn't say nihilistic, but became very cynical. And I think when I was still 16, I was very optimistic about life, and I was in touch with my emotions more and things like that. So it would have been easier for me to take on a lot of the things that I was learning for acting. If I had to be emotional for this scene, or if I had to be present for someone else in this scene, I could hold space for them easier. I've had to rewrite everything to be able to do that again. But I mean, when I was younger, you were just so full of emotions. We were talking about this last night. How good were the emotions you had in high school, the hormones?
Oh, I
Like-
don't know about good, but yes, they were
Well-
vigorous.
Getting a crush on someone.
Yeah.
Shut up.
Bro, the feeling of slow dancing with a woman
Oh my goodness! And
when you
what
were
was
in
it
high
called?
school.
Hyper age.
Oh,
Hyper age,
rage,
yeah.
Damn.
I never went because I was on a fucking loser, but like,
Yeah. I never went either.
But it was at the Hyperdome, right?
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
like this weird disco dance where everyone just went to try and find a girl and then touch her bum whilst slow dancing.
And by slow dancing, you just mean like hand around the waist and just rocking side
Yeah,
to
like-
side.
Did you
and then like
did
not
you
looking
manage
at each other. Like,
Did you manage that feat, Phil? Like, did you manage to slow dance and butt grab?
I think I don't know about butt grab, but
Close
it was
your ears,
probably like
Emily.
just the hip, the top of the
Hand in
butt.
pockets.
I was like,
Yeah.
yeah.
My friend thinks you're cute. Do you want to dance with him? I'm like, it's like, you ask for someone else.
Yeah.
Ugh, gross.
All right, what will yours be?
Mine would be, so 16 would have been 2006. So I would say in 2007, 2008, get whatever pocket money you have and buy this thing called Bitcoin and don't do anything with it until 2024. Nah, just kidding. I'd be fucking rich, but I would probably do a combination of Jeff's and M's where it's like breakups were always really intense for me. So I would just say not so much validation, but like it's not my responsibility to make sure the other person is okay. Like you're
Yeah.
both going through the breakup.
That's what friends are for, you know? Like,
Exactly.
deal with that
exactly.
fallout.
Yeah, that's my deep one. The Bitcoin one would be good if I can tell
Yeah,
him
yeah.
two
It's
things.
like all those memes about like, 1992, I should have been like buying property, but instead I was like swimming around my dad's nutsack like
Yeah,
a fucking
yeah.
idiot.
you freaking idiots! You should have been
Oh,
buying.
you goober. Yeah.
Well, there's actually like I know it's all shoulda, coulda, woulda, but actually my little brother, David, who listens to this a lot, he and his friends were literally talking about Bitcoin in high school and just like not really knowing what was going on, but like, oh yeah, and like people are buying this and blah, blah, when it was like worth cents. And now he's kind of kicking himself. He's like, oh man, it's like it's just hit another all-time high.
You never know. Right? And like being a teenager, you've got teenage money, which is not a lot. And then like to part with that is like,
Yeah.
that's just, it's just, so I get it.
Still,
Super high
Jeff,
risk.
$20 worth of
Oh.
7-cent Bitcoins. They're
You
worth
just throw it away.
95 grand each now.
Christ.
That's a lot of money.
Could buy
Well-
some shit and some stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, shit and some
I
stuff.
saw it. I showed Em. I saw this. It was like one of those lad Bible or something on Instagram, but they made a post where it was like the latest Bitcoin boom wave
Oh, yeah.
is creating 1,500 millionaire portfolios a minute
Yeah,
or
something
something stupid like that.
That's cool. I just sold all my stuff
That's
2 weeks ago. Yeah.
cool. I sold my Bitcoin. I actually have a tiny amount of Bitcoin, which I bought a couple years ago, and it was like $180 worth back then. It's now worth like $1,200. So I'm up
Nice.
like 1,000% on Bitcoin. I just didn't have
Fast,
enough
bro.
money in there.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
What?
That's hell yeah.
So Phil, we'll start with you. If you could, if there was a song that was the theme song to your life, what would it be called and who would sing it?
Oh my God.
Off the top of the dome, that's a good one. These are like icebreakers for like shitty work pre-starts. All right, guys.
All right, guys. So what's the song?
At least everyone else has time to like think.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, do you guys want to
It's
Phil?
got
Hell
like
no.
if you're putting me on the spot, it's gonna have to be like either Phil Collins or
I was thinking Phil as well.
like Blink 182.
Ah,
What's my age again style? But
Blink 180, Collins 182.
and then what would it be called? The soundtrack to my life. Oh, it's too much. No. There's nothing creative that's popping into my head. I
So
can't.
you're like we're saying about making up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, you don't have to find the song that already exists,
Mm.
but it would
Yeah,
be
just like if there was a background song that you couldn't hear but was constantly playing for your life, like we're watching a movie of you,
Oh, okay.
making coffee on the train.
There was a
What
Family Guy episode where Peter had
he hears his
theme
own,
tune the song the whole way through.
and someone's like, "Can you turn that off?"
Yeah.
or something. Yeah.
they could all hear it.
So, yeah, what do you think it would be called, and who do you think would sing it if there was lyrics to
Oh,
it?
okay, got it. Like it would. I think mine would be called Happy Go Lucky because I
Ooh.
kind of like float around with the expectation that it'll all work out in the end, and
Excellent.
success follows happiness. So as long as I pursue the happiness, everything will work out fine,
I love that
and I
mentality.
don't stress out about stuff.
Yeah.
In that regard,
Yeah,
of
okay.
the
nice.
stuff I stress out.
There's
about.
plenty of stuff to stress
Yeah,
out
yeah.
about,
Just caveat because you could name a few things.
but
Any idea who might sing it? Let's say there's an acoustic version and a singing version.
Oh, I think like Ben Howard
Ah,
for the acoustic version.
Ben's popping off these days. Hey,
'Cause that would be
Okay, nice and soft.
yeah, exactly.
Sorry,
but
not-
just like very calm and
And
Yeah.
just soothing to the
chill,
soul.
like background, like, hey,
Okay.
it's all right.
yeah.
All right.
You,
yeah.
you
See,
chase the
like
things that are important, which is happiness.
mine would definitely be like something Skrillex, right? It's like super chaotic and like.
I realized
yeah.
I said acoustic when I meant instrumental, but acoustic's fine too.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. What about you? That's a good one.
That was pretty much it. Yeah.
Skrillex.
It would just be chaos, but it's controlled chaos, right?
What would the song be called? Controlled Chaos?
I don't know. It would just I think it'd probably just be one of
it's the one that already exists.
one that already
Scary
exists.
spirits and
yeah, with scary monsters and nice
Scary
sprites,
monsters
right?
and nice
yeah.
sprites.
It's about balance.
Hmm.
But no, I think that's or it'd be some sort of what's her name, Olivia Rodrigo.
Oh yeah.
It'd be some like real angsty like.
That's your path.
Yeah, because basically my life is like a teenage girl, I think. So it's cool.
my life
Anyways,
is
next.
like a teenage girl. I love it.
Mm.
Your life is like a teenage girl's life, or your life is like a teenage girl.
Oh, they both could be fitting.
Yeah.
But I
I'm
intended it
imagining
like a teenage girl's life. I just have a lot of feelings.
Oh, what's yours, Joel?
Yeah, go ahead.
I'd say I'd like to have something by Hans Zimmer.
Oh,
Oh,
know-
wow. Epic.
Such an adult
Sorry.
choice. Yeah, anyway, I take back all of my
Yeah.
answers.
I know my life isn't that epic that I have Hans Zimmer, but I'd like to this year in particular really do some more epic stuff. So travel and get some more acting roles. And I think I'd call it something gangster like Proud Heart or something. I was trying to think of like an epic.
Interstellar 2.
Yeah, like an epic Hans Zimmer name, you know?
The Interstellaring.
Yeah.
all right. If we're doing that, like if we're doing instrumentals,
It's
it's gonna be like a Hans Zimmer remix with like some sort of like almost dubsteppy beat.
Mm. I imagine mine would be very similar to like the Pirates of the Caribbean theme though. Dun-dun-dun, dun-dun-dun, dun-dun. It wouldn't be like it would be more like
Yeah, some sort of comedic value
Yeah,
in there as
it's
well.
just
me
not
on the
too
toilet.
Serious.
You know.
Either boring or it's just
Yeah.
Everything is epic. That was huge.
The
Emma-
superhero that has to grab his leg to fly. Ah!
Em had to cop the wrath after we watched Dune the other night. Just
You
sitting
watched
on the
Dune
couch.
2? Or
No, no,
Yeah.
number one.
Did
I
you
hadn't
like it?
even
She had to
watched
watch
one.
you with that popcorn
What'd you
bucket.
think?
Is that
No,
what
I'm just
I
sitting on the
enjoyed
couch.
Nice.
As soon as it finished, I was like,
It's like 11 p.m.
yeah.
And I'm
All
half
evening.
asleep as well because it's a long ass movie.
All
That's such a
evening, I'm
film.
having a shower. I'm like,
You've got the pitch. I love it.
Man, half asleep. I woke up at 2:30 this morning.
Here we go.
I
Oh,
woke up at
Okay.
2:30 this morning. So staying at Joel's, right? So down from Brisbane for the weekend, staying at Joel's
On the
and,
couch.
on the couch, yeah,
big
which is fine.
couch.
It's a pretty long couch. Like I've got two options, L shape, so I can pick either way. I can flip, rotate, can do all kinds of things. So I'm on there. 2:30, door opens. You know, here comes housemate, and he's like, "Oh, dude, do you want to jump on my bed?" I was like, well, I'm like 32 years old. Really, I should be jumping on beds, should I?
Yeah.
Right, keep in mind, it's 2:30. I'm asleep and I've just woken up. I'm scared. I have no idea what's happening. I don't know who this is. I'm just trying to do my best to like have a conversation with this man, and jump on bed. I'm
He's
like,
hard to
oh,
understand too.
I'm
I'll
like,
give you that.
hey.
He's hard to
It's
understand.
hard to
too.
understand. There is,
Scottish.
there is an accent. It's a very thick accent, and so I'm like, oh, that's all good. Like I'm happy to sleep on the couch because I'm like, is he offering to sleep on the couch? I'll sleep on his bed. I'm like, that's just you just take your bed, bro. That's yours. Because I have no idea where I am, what I'm doing. I've just been woken up, and then he's like, oh, I've got like a mate coming over to have a drink and whatever.
Six
So-
Nations. Scotland's playing
Oh.
Ireland at like 3 a.m. So
Oh
Mm.
shit!
and
Yeah.
it's like we've got a box at home that plays stuff illegally. So
Oh, good.
he needed that
On the
space.
TV, of
Yeah.
course.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I'm more than happy to move into that room. That's fine. Cool. Can do that. But and then he's invited me to watch the rugby with them and have a drink and whatever. And I'm like, oh, honestly, I'm probably just going to go back to sleep because that's where I've come from. And so I'm just in this room and then taking a little while to wind back down and fall back asleep because now I'm like maybe I need a wee. Now I need to get up and go wee and the worst thing to wee in someone else's bed. So make sure I've drained that out. We're not going to have those issues. I'm in the bed and I'm falling asleep and here comes the friend. He's come, so they're talking and it's getting a bit loud. And then some more, and then more voices come. Right.
At this point in time, I wake up to these new voices.
Joel hears female voices.
I'm
Ears
like-
prick up.
Oh, of
Yeah,
course.
female voices. Yeah.
Where are they?
So this will tie in, this will lead back into you. So
And-
I pick up the phone and go, hey, I've already got a message from Joe. He's like, hey, mate, you up? If we're too noisy, please let me know. I'm like, huh? And I'm like, do I hear babes' voices, like women? He's like,
Babes?
He's like,
Are
yeah.
those babes?
Yeah, he's like, yeah, 2 of them. ... Strippers.
What?
I'm like,
Just a casual Saturday night.
Yeah.
Right? Get some strippers come around. 3 voices I could hear.
yeah, I don't
I
hear
don't know
Jeffrey's
what one
voice.
costs, but there's
Yeah.
there's 3, right?
I don't hear Jeffrey's voice, so I know, okay, Jeff's not out there. I don't need to go out there. He's probably gone in his room, so I'm just like,
Yeah, there
I'm
was one
sick,
rule.
I'm done.
Oh, he said, please don't wank in my bed. And I was like, all right,
He
that's.
says that a lot.
Does he?
Oh.
Yeah.
I don't like being told what to do. So, first thing, zip. But I'm like, don't you fucking tell me what to do.
And this is very out of the ordinary for my roommate. Like if he ever does stuff, he's always out and about. So I think he was like, I
Taking it
need
back
to
home.
watch the Six Nations at home, but I need to kick on still with my mate.
So it's about 3 o'clock at this point, right?
Yeah.
It's about 3 o'clock. And there's 3 voices. I don't know what one of these like humans cost, but you have a set of 3. I'm imagining you're paying like triple. There's 2 of them, and then there's 3
Twice
voices.
you get one free. You never know.
Yeah, it could be.
Could be like a deal, a Saturday night deal. After 3 a.m., it's like 40% discount or something because they're about to expire. And they're
Yeah.
like,
They're like,
yeah,
let's turn to dust.
like,
Like Avengers.
they've worked all night. We've made our money. Now it's just free
Mm.
play.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Cream on the top.
Extra money, yeah.
yeah, all literal like cream on
Yeah.
top, right? Yeah. And there's nothing left that's going to fit inside there. So yeah, this went on for hours, right? And I struggled to fall back asleep, and it's not because it was tuned loud, which it was. I was just very interested in like what was happening out there, like the conversation that I could hear. It was like paying, like instead of paying a therapist who's qualified to like talk to me about my problems, it's like paying 3 escorts
They were
talk to
having
about my problems.
See,
It was
I
like-
was at this point in time, I kept jumping in and out of consciousness as well. Because like, do you know when you're sick, it's hard to sleep?
Mm.
And I'm like rolling around and be like, yeah, so like, and then she just wouldn't talk to me and then I'd fall back to
Oh my
sleep.
gosh.
So these guys were having therapeutic conversations with strippers.
It was good.
Oh my goodness.
So yeah.
So I was like, wow, it's that, and that's why that's so like, I'm so far removed from that kind of like thing. Like it doesn't. It's not even. In
It's
my
fascinating
brain
though.
to
It's like being in
like-
the safari and
Yeah,
like
yeah,
watching a lion kill a gazelle. It's
I'm
like,
like, instead of being like, oh, I'll get my mates to come around. Like, I need someone to talk to or whatever. It's just like, I'm gonna hire some
Strippers.
ladies
Yeah.
of the night.
you can't
come
even
on
have
in.
sex with them. Like, what the
What is
fuck?
this
What's
cost
the
Well,
point?
he did just say escorts. Were they just strippers?
Well,
or
I
were
don't
just
know
strippers,
because I
bro.
wasn't out there, right?
Yeah.
I'm just making assumptions because I'm like, well, why pay for a stripper if like, well, I'm just looking but I can't touch? Like, what's that gonna? I'm just gonna go to bed frustrated.
Mhm.
I could do that for free, right? I've been frustrated. So I wasn't sure, but and then I was like, and then in the morning, it was like 8 o'clock in the morning,
Mm.
still going.
Oh, they're still out
Started
there.
at 3.
Oh,
It's just
yeah,
8 o'clock.
They've
Wow.
been
And I'm
geared
like,
up all
this
night.
is, are they paid by the hour? How's this working here? Have we bulk paid for are they on a salary? And then I'm like, I need to like pee. I need to, and I'm like, but I don't want to like, I don't want to go out there and it's awkward. Like, hey, hello, ladies. Is it okay if I
Nice
just,
nipples.
Yes.
I'm just
Oh,
gonna go
yes.
back to bed.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But like, cause I'm like, her eyes are up here. So I'm looking up here. And like my bag's out in that living room too. And I'm like, I need to have a shower and get changed. And I'm like, I'll sneak through and maybe I can just like reach around the corner and like, nope, they're all right there. Okay, cool. Hello.
Yeah.
Had to go in my bag and have a shower and stuff. So it was really, it was a weird experience. I don't know. Maybe that's super normal, but
It's not. It's
So you
not,
went out there, and what was the visual? Sorry, was
So I went,
seen some boobies.
I went out there about maybe
Yeah, dude.
30 minutes before Jeff. But God bless my roommate. He's very, very respectful of me, and I could see I could see in his eyes he was like, "Is this okay? Like, I'm so sorry. Is this all right?" And I was like, "Fine." Like, granted, you're fucking noisy, but it's fine. And he was like, So
It's different if it's every single weekend as well. But
yeah,
like,
no,
this
never
is kind
seen
of
that. Yeah.
Now, one of these ladies thought I was a homosexual.
Oh,
So
really?
she made the comment that like, oh, if these guys were like in a room with me, I wouldn't be too worried anyway. And I was like, haha,
She said that?
what's that supposed to mean, right?
Mm.
Because I don't know if you can tell, but I'm sitting down. I'm 6'2", so and she's like, oh, the hands on the hip. I'm like, is it because I tucked my shirt in, right? Because that can give off some like vibes. She's like, the hands on the hips. I'm like, what a fucking obscure way to judge a homosexual. Like,
Yeah.
hands on the hips. And I was like, lady, no. I don't know. Like, did straight men not put their hands on their hips?
For real.
We start a
real.
poll on this? What's happening here? I'm like, maybe it's a teacher thing. Like, I'll just stand out. Guys, I'm waiting.
yeah,
Look around
yeah,
you.
you definitely would. Yeah,
What is everyone else doing? What are you doing? So maybe that's the hand on the hip thing. But I'm also like, what am I supposed to fucking do with my hands anyway? Where do you want me to put them that's straight?
Yeah.
On your face? On your breast? Where do I put them? I'm not paying for shit.
Yeah.
I think it's because you weren't staring at her boobs enough. You were doing too much.
Oh, because I was being
contact.
respectful because
Yeah.
I'm saving my eyes for
Yeah.
marriage?
Yeah.
Grow up, lady.
Saving your
Definitely,
eyes for
definitely.
marriage.
Oh, you guys aren't? Okay, that's interesting.
I remember it was probably 2011 and I was at the Gold Coast and we had like a hotel room at the Gold Coast and we were getting on it. Oh, thanks, bro. And this was around the time that people started to roll up the cuffs.
Mm.
So I had my cuffs rolled up and I got in the elevator with some people I was with. And then there was other people our age in the elevator and a bunch of chicks. And we were like looking at each other. We didn't say hello to each other because you kind of like awkward in an elevator. And then we got off at the wrong level. They got off before us. And then we're like, oh, it's the level down. So when we got off the level down and went to the apartment, there was already a party in there and they were going to the same party. So we're like, hey, we're just in the elevator with you. And halfway through the night, this chick, you could tell she was like an uneducated Darrow. She's like, I thought you were gay. It's like, what do you mean? She's like, because you rolled up your cuffs. I'm like,
oh,
you fucking backwards Darrow bogan. Do you live in such a trailer park that you've never seen a man roll up his cuffs who's straight?
I mean,
Maybe, but like, I was just like, hands on the hips, rolled up cuffs,
yeah, it's pretty easy tell signs, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Because I look respectable.
Mm,
Fuck you, lady.
yeah,
Not even that hot anyway, whatever. Ugh.
yeah.
Why didn't she like me?
But it was just so, like, I don't know. Maybe now that we left, they were like, oh, they're gone. Let's start fucking each other.
Oh,
But-
gross.
Yeah,
White
but
girls are so
um,
gross.
strippers though, dude, that's nuts.
I never got on the ankle showing train with
I wondered where you're going.
I feel like
with
I got
that
some hot ankles, so they need to breathe, you know?
Yeah, for real.
I never did the ankle showing. I don't know. And like the boat shoes, I bought some loafers
Yeah,
one
okay.
time,
I fuck with
and I
loafers.
think maybe
Sure.
wore them for like one afternoon,
Okay.
and then just never wore them again.
Yeah. There's just like a power in feeling wanky, like just, ugh, you know? Cuff them ankles.
Especially down in Sydney
loafers.
as well.
Yeah, down in
Like,
Sydney.
ah.
So maybe if I was doing it in Brisbane, I'd be like, oh, I'm different. This is cool.
Yeah.
But here I was like, oh, I know who I look like.
One of us.
And I don't
one
want to.
of us.
I remember how torn I felt when I was a teenager and wore skinny jeans for the first time.
Mm.
because I was like, this is so against my nature. Like I'm used to like baggier jeans or like
But
chinos
the
or whatever.
support, like, of just holds
Yeah.
everything in place because it's got nowhere else to go.
Yeah. But then I hated myself for liking skinny jeans so much. It's like, what is this?
Yeah,
But,
I'll
yeah.
still like get me the skinniest pants. Paint them on if you need to. Oh,
As long as they're
I need it
stretchy.
tight. Yeah,
Stretchy.
Yeah.
I can't do skinny jeans.
I want to still be able to,
No way.
For real.
do all the things.
I got these jeans from Industry that are like super stretchy, and they got the elastic on the bottom part
Oh, yep.
on the ankles. So that's like that's the only thing I got on board with. First, I was like, it looks too casual. It looks like I'm trying to wear trackies, but
Right.
make them look like chinos or jeans.
See, if it was like socially acceptable for men to wear like gym tights, you best believe
Bro.
I would be caked up, double cheeking it
On a
in
Thursday
those gym
afternoon.
tights.
I love the Under Armour bike shorts that I wear. Like if they're a bit too revealing and it's just like, oh, then I probably would be more self-conscious, but they just feel so fucking good. Just like moving
Yeah,
in
and
the
Feels like I'm
people
wearing
do.
nothing at all.
exactly.
People do wear tights. You just gotta have. I think you just gotta have the physique to pull it
Right?
off.
Yeah. What
Yeah.
you're saying is, if I wasn't half Asian, if I was packing heat right at the front there,
Mm.
double knocked up.
But let's say
I'll be in those tights.
let's say you're packing a Titan. Wouldn't you feel a bit of a douche though, being like, look what I've got? Boom,
I'm
boom,
sorry,
boom.
did my large penis offend you?
Yeah, well,
Grow up.
Come on,
little
like,
man.
I
5'9"
Are
behavior.
you forgetting his point at the very beginning of not worrying about what anyone else?
yeah, I know,
Right,
but
there we
like,
go.
but you're a humble guy, like,
So obviously I draw the line at wearing tights
Oh,
in public.
yes, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, that's the line.
But, if I had that like, Ronnie Coleman physique, if I was
Down the
just
bleed,
spruce caboose.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it just depends on what the
let it
man
free.
booty is like. You know,
Mm.
man booty, yeah, for real.
you got them big man buns behind.
Oh,
People be like, "Oh, I'm not offended at all."
just want an ass that people are like, I don't want to smack that butt, right? Like
For real.
someone looks at it and they're like, I can't not smack that butt.
Yeah,
That's the kind of butt.
I want to struggle
wanna
to get
have.
into like some pants. And be
Yeah.
like, oh, you fat
Yeah,
ass.
chicks like they'll pull on their jeans and
I
they
want
got to
chingy.
jump. They got to jump to squeeze that last bit into it.
Word.
I want Chingy to make his song about me. Damn, girl, how you get all of that in damn jeans?
Do you remember? I
Yeah.
remember it was like maybe. So my last year of high school was 2005. No. Sorry, primary school was 2004, I think. And I was in year 7. And I remember there was a rumor. People were like, oh, Chingy jumped off a bridge and killed himself. Weird like kid rumors.
Yeah.
And then, like, did he die? Is he alive? Like, where did Chingy
Oh.
go?
No idea. And this is also before social media then.
Yeah.
So this is just.
But somehow we all knew that Marilyn Manson had like removed this rib and like sucked
Oh,
his
yeah,
own dick.
yeah,
Right?
yeah.
How's this come
Yeah.
around?
That
Right?
was a
Facts,
universal.
pure
How there you
facts.
go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
This is like
that went around the UK.
transcontinental even. This is like this is weird with
I've forgotten
across
that
the
happened.
ocean.
Happened.
and allegedly,
Yeah.
right? So we have no proof, but somehow that rumor went everywhere across the sea.
Yeah.
It just went to everything.
Not
How
just the sea.
So where the fuck's Kate Middleton,
Seven
right? What's
seas.
happening here?
Okay. How did stuff go around? Because I remember a very sad one in contrast, but like Steve Irwin dying. So we were in school, but we all had mobile phones, but they were still the old school ones. Or- No,
I
that
had
was
like the
when we
old Nokia Coca-Cola one.
yeah.
Like
What was that when we had the
Fossil.
flip already
Laser.
with color and?
the laser flip.
The
But it-
razor.
that was
Razor.
all over the news. Like it was over the news in the UK.
Yeah, but we were at school when it
Oh,
happened.
yeah.
So I remember rocking up to the bus stop and people were like,
But that was the same with 9/11. Like we were at school and then all of a sudden, but I guess again we had phones with text message.
Mm.
And yeah,
Yeah,
9/11
I just
was
didn't have any friends to text message to. So
Yeah.
9/11 was yeah, I mean that was like everyone was talking about it because I remember I
Oh,
had
sorry,
just-
but the timing of it, we were in school.
yeah. Oh yeah, sorry.
We were at school when that happened. But
Oh,
then
you were
yeah,
right.
'cause of
Whereas
the time
ours happened
difference. Yeah,
overnight.
exactly.
So we woke up in the morning, and which is weird because here we woke up in the morning and the whole lot would have already happened. Like
Yeah.
towers would have already collapsed, everything.
Mm.
But it was still like strangely, maybe because they were replaying it in like a timeline. I don't know. But I remember we dropped my sister or maybe my little brother to kindergarten or something. And I had just recently broken my collarbone. So this was going to be my first day back at school. And as I was in the car, I was like, oh, I still don't feel like going to school. And mum got back in the car. She's like, all right, you won't go to school. You can have a day off. I was like, yeah.
Like, I'm just real
But then
sad
she's
about
like,
the towers.
the kindergarten teachers were just talking about it. Like, apparently there was an accident and a plane hit the Twin Towers. And I was like, because I knew all about tall buildings when I was little. I was a bit of a nerd.
Hell
Surprise.
Yeah. What about
I,
tall trees, man? Like redwoods?
No, buildings. Just
Hyperion.
buildings.
Wow.
Tallest building in the world. Tallest structure in the world was the CN Tower at the time. So I would make like little scaled models out of Lego. So I had
Yeah. I think they actually call that autism. So
no, it was just a bit of nerding out.
I am retarded, but I really like rocks. Seen that guy?
I remember my mum. I remember I got up and it was like my mum would wake me up at 6 o'clock every morning, and she'd be like, 6 o'clock, time to get up. And I remember just sitting.
Gentle parenting.
I remember, my dad would be like, "Boosh,"
Yeah.
and then
What's
just
up,
walk
asshole?
out.
It's time to get
I'd
up.
be like, "Fuck!" He
Here's your
just
father.
ripped the door open.
Go do that.
I remember just sitting there half awake eating toast and looking at the burning buildings and then them collapsing. And bless my mum, she was like, she could have really stopped and been like, fuck, this is intense. But she was hard at work making my lunch and getting ready for me and shit. So
I think that fucked me up a little bit. The fact that I went back home because I literally was in front of the TV the whole day. So I think it's probably I got a little It's like because that was when they were playing some unfiltered shit.
for real.
Like you can't
People
find that
jumping
footage
from
anymore.
the
Yeah.
buildings and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, like close-ups, people zooming in and stuff, and like them waving out the windows. And you can't find that stuff anymore.
I remember my teacher when we got to class, my teacher sat us all down. She's like, "All right, so in some countries, other countries have more money than others, and when those countries don't have as much money, they get angry and try to hurt this country." I think he was talking about oil and all that
See,
shit.
that's
And we're
that's
just like-
that's really cool that he's trying to explain it in like really simple terms,
Yeah.
like to make sense of what's going on. Like if you're a kid, you're like, why would anyone do this?
Yeah, I think I was in year 3, but even at that time, I was like, this is too broad. Be a bit more specific. But I think he was content with just saying that, you know.
I think that's good. I think it's a good way of trying to put it. Just to like high level explain it because you don't want to try and get your own political opinions in there. So you just need to explain it to the kids
It's the facts.
in a
Here's what
factual
happened.
manner.
Yeah.
There was two buildings, and they got
really.
really, really tired, and they fell over. Whoopsies.
No, for real, what would you have said? Because you're.
What would I have said to like
Early-
my students?
Wait, what age are your students?
They're 8 years old, so year 3.
Oh yeah.
So I think it was actually would have been actually year 4 when it happened because I had Mrs. Roberts.
year
I
4?
remember it.
Okay.
Yep.
I would have been year
Like
5.
it was yesterday.
Yeah.
Close enough.
Don't ask me.
Graduated.
Year 7. Gotcha.
I don't know what I would say to them. I'd be like, oh, actually, you're gonna have to ask your parents for all the details or whatever the parents are comfortable with sharing. But I'd be like, there's stuff happening overseas, and like I'd probably just call it an incident, an accident with buildings and a plane crashing into it. And they'd be like, did people die? That would be a question they'd ask. And I'd be like, yeah, hell yeah, they did.
What would you do if one of the students said, "Is this to do with oil?"
My kids wouldn't say that. My kids are like borderline
No, but
retarded,
what if you had
so-
that? What if you had that one autistic Sheldon Cooper?
Yeah. And they're like, I'll be like, I don't know. Right.
I'll see you
Because
after class.
I don't know what like the agenda is. I just know factually what has happened. This has happened and this has happened. This has happened.
Yeah.
A plane has hit this building has collapsed.
Mm.
I don't know if there was explosions in that building. I don't know what the motive was. I don't know who was behind it.
Yeah, let's not get into
Right?
the.
So here's the facts. This is what's happened. Here's what's occurred. Here's what's happened. Here's how we're impacted as a year 3 class. Not at all.
Yeah, that,
Not at all.
that
Do your
impact
fucking work.
point is really important though,
Yeah.
because you want them to know that they're safe.
Reassurance.
Yeah.
Because, and this is going even like when I was much younger in like junior school and learning about World War II. For years, I would lay awake at night and worry that the sirens were going to go off because of a bombing from World
Blitz.
War II. The Blitz would happen again. Like, how bonkers is that? Like,
Mm.
obviously that wasn't going to happen, but you learn about it so much at school, and then you're like, oh my gosh,
Yeah, this is something
this
that
is
happens.
this is yeah, and it could happen
Yeah.
again to me. And I was terrified that all of a sudden, bam, there would be a world war and we'd get bombed.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah. And it's like because we practice like lockdown procedures at school all the time. So it's like, oh my God, are we practicing it because this is something that happens all the time? I'm like, no, but also like if we do lock down and someone's in the school, like why would they want to shoot you in the face? And if someone comes in here, Mr. K is like 6 foot wide, 6'2" high. There's a lot of surface area, right? You gotta get through this unit to get to you idiots. This
So-
dude ain't going nowhere.
I'm a die. You guys will be fine.
We're all gonna be fine, brother.
But even like when I was at juniors, like we'd learn about World War II, and we also did like World War II reenactment days. So we'd all dress up as kids from the past. The school would put on the siren, and then we'd go down into the bomb shelters that were below the playground.
One
you'd
kid's got a
see-
harmonica.
Yeah, and then you'd see on the walls like all of the chalk where like kids had been down there
You had a
back in the
bomb
day.
shelter?
Yeah,
Wait, they've still
and
got.
they've all the drawings on the
That's
wall.
crazy.
And it's
Like,
like a little maze, and that's where all the kids were like from back then. So you went through the process of doing it. So of course I was terrified.
What
of
the
happening
How
there.
do you-
Why
how
did
do they-
do that?
How do you
History.
preserve chalk?
Yeah,
Do
history.
you spray like a lacquer over it so it's stuck? Like, how do you preserve chalk without it just
It just-
rubbing
Well,
off?
there's no,
Stays there because it's underground, under the playground. Like no one goes down there.
there's no
Yeah.
wind. There's
But
nothing
yeah,
to-
but I'd be afraid of little kids like, rubbing it off.
No.
Bed knobs and broomsticks, absolute classic. You remember that movie?
Oh, I remember wasn't it based on books?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Do you remember
I don't-
Bed knobs and broomsticks?
I don't
Oh,
think I
bro,
ever
it was,
watched it.
it was based around the kids in the Blitz, kind of like Narnia
Mm.
when
Yeah,
they
'cause
had
that
to
was-
escape.
Mm,
You know what the Blitz is, right? It's when the Germans were dropping bombs on the English in London.
Blitzkrieg.
And so
Yeah.
they had to send all the children to
Away.
the countryside. And most people would like go about their day and then hide in the subways and the bomb shelters and
Mm.
stuff. And yeah.
That's wild. See, that would have been a very different conversation in the US because that was the scary thing. They had no idea whether there was more coming because it was like 4 planes. So that was scary
yeah.
to start with. They didn't know, right? One hits, then a second one hits somewhere else, and they're like, "Oh shit, this is like a planned thing." So then imagine them trying to tell the kids, "Oh yeah, we're safe." They had no fucking idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
We are safe-ish.
I think we're safe. You guys should probably go home.
Yeah. Anyway, hold your bags nice and high.
Yeah. That would have been a very different. We're pretty lucky here in Australia. We're very far away.
Yeah, and then like everything here wants to like kill you anyway, so it's like no one wants to come here. Like,
Yeah.
Mm.
well, I'm going to be fighting people and snakes and spiders, and like, no way, you just stay away. We're safe here. We're okay. They come by water. We got jellyfish. We got like
Yeah.
so well protected.
Was Shane Gillis saying his latest special? He's like, yeah, down in Australia, just doing nothing.
Yeah. We have no
exporting
exports.
anything.
Yeah. Yeah.
Funny. Don't we
That's true.
export our coal?
Yeah. We got coal, gas, exotic animals.
Probably.
I was watching a
Anyone
movie.
wants kangaroos in their zoo overseas, it's coming from here.
Hell yeah.
I was studying. I tend to have periods where I like to study Marlon Brando, who's like the emperor of acting. Like he changed acting. He changed acting from, listen here, Maud, I'm gonna love you forever. Oh, Red. From like actual emotional, intense scenes. And so I was watching a lot of his later films that he did, and he did do a movie with Matthew Broderick. I can't remember what it was called, as good as things get or something like that. And it was a pretty shit movie. I don't know how they got Marlon Brando in it, but towards the end of Marlon Brando's career, he wouldn't read the words. He'd have a thing there, and his PA would read the lines to him, and he'd say it on the spot, but he still pulled it off. Or he'd have cue cards. So you watch any of Marlon Brando's films, you'd be like, "Oh, listen, I just don't know what I'm gonna do," and he'd be reading it was
my
amazing,
gosh.
but he'd still looked amazing.
I guess that's a pretty unique style of acting, right?
Yeah,
Because you're trying to be in the moment, listen to what the other person's saying,
yeah,
and then be the character, and then be told what to say there and then.
exactly.
Have you ever done that? Have you ever had?
That sounds like a harder way of acting.
Absolutely, it does.
Yeah. Oh, big time.
It doesn't give you a lot of room to play with the character.
Have you
I
ever?
don't feel like if I'm conscious of what's been said in my ear, I don't feel like I'm listening to what you're saying, so I can't react to you accordingly. You know?
Because it's a very unique scenario, right? We just think of it in like 007 or something, where you've got the guy in the control room. And
Yeah,
he's like, go to this person and say this and da da da.
yeah,
But when I first was started learning tech sales, I would have my manager and he would be ghosting the call. And so I could hear him, but the customer on the other end couldn't. And he could hear the whole conversation. So he would just be like, the customer would ask me something and he would be like, da-da-da, say this. And I'd be like, hey, da-da. And I was like, this is kind of fun. Like,
Yeah,
it's kind
yeah.
of like.
The dog
I'm-
starts biting his
Yeah.
ankles. He's like, "Oh, you fucking piece of shit!" You're like, "You piece of shit."
Yeah. He's like, no, don't say that.
Yeah.
No, don't say that.
And the customer's like, what the fuck is this guy on? Yeah, it was fun. Like, I've never had that before. Like,
Mm.
when would you ever be in a scenario where someone's whispering to you what to say?
Yeah, yeah.
Well, there's that like
There's-
comedy group, right? Have you seen
Yeah,
it?
they
It's like
sit
that-
in the
older
van.
Guys. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
and then
great.
they'll go somewhere in public or like, go order something.
I
like
find those
fast food or
so
something, And then
cringe.
they're talking in the ear and they have to just say whatever is being said. Doesn't matter how like crude or like ludicrous it is. That's the
Brilliant.
objective.
Yeah.
So it could be like, I mean, I would be too immature for it. I'd be in that van and be like, I'm going to say something racist. And like, I'm probably going to get someone killed
Yeah.
accidentally, but just because like my brain wouldn't just be able to be like, hey, let's take this seriously. Let's say like funny things and be like, haha, let's get this person in a lot of trouble. That's what I want.
They're like, "Jeff, what are you doing?" You're like, "Say it again," like real deadpan.
Say it. Say the word.
Yeah. This
You already know what it is. Say it.
Don't they
This-
have that show that you showed me where they get a non-actor, like just a random person, they put them in these scenes
Yeah, yeah.
with actors.
Murder in Successville.
and is that the same thing? Like
Yeah,
they're
and
telling
he-
him what to say?
Just for that one scene, and he's like, "That's the coolest thing I've ever seen." And I saw a pigeon eat a piece of bread, and he couldn't fly because there was a rock in it. Like this weird shit.
Just
I-
weird
I'll,
shit
I'll-
like that.
I'll send it to you. It's
Yeah,
British.
do.
You'll love it. But back to the Marlon Brando. So this movie he's in with Matthew Broderick, you can actually see in some of the scenes he's got a wire.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
But the movie is he gets to New York. He's a film student, and he's trying to find work, more or less. And a local mob boss, which is like he plays the Godfather as well, like Marlon Brando. He's not like a mafia shoot kill. His racket is he exports exotic endangered animals into New York where they live, and then these billionaire boys club Illuminati groups pay millions of dollars to go to an area and eat these exotic animals. So there was
Oh.
like a exotic cheetah. There was like a Komodo dragon and all this shit, and they pay to like eat these endangered
Yeah.
animals. And I thought, I wonder how many crazy people out there are eating exotic Australian animals.
Mm. Well, would it be exotic for them to have kangaroo meat overseas?
Not at all. It'd be a bit more expensive to import it, but maybe there's like an albino fucking jellyfish or something weird out there that they're eating.
Maybe. See, that's just taking the game meat thing
Well,
to a whole
there'd
new
be like
level.
those cannibal clubs, right? Where it's like they'll pay for like a human finger or something.
Yeah, Lady Gaga, is it?
Oh, is that?
I don't know.
She put some sort of reptilian.
Apparently,
thing? Yeah.
look, I know nothing about it, but I know these like diehard Trump supporters, and they're like,
okay.
yeah, he's gonna take them all down.
And here's the evidence. There's 3 letters in the first 3 letters of Illuminati, and like
no, it's literally like when like I think Lady Gaga did something and Trump actually mentioned her or something, and like when Trump said this. That was code. She is part of the cannibals, and he's gonna take them down. Like you're a freak.
I like watching how someone's brain like does
Yeah.
this
Joining
shit.
dots.
Why
Yeah.
would someone
They
try
don't do
to?
it alone though.
Why
That's
would
the
so-
problem.
It's a
Yeah.
community.
It's
of
a community that are
They're
like
all just sitting
"This
around
is
circle
happening."
jerking each other,
Yeah.
and
Oh,
like
circle jerk.
Circle jerk. If you've got a secret,
It's a
why would
competition.
you?
I've just learned that.
You
It's
never
when
heard that
when-
one before.
When all the boats were going in the circle and roping each other up at the
Right.
at the Yacht Social, I was like, circle jerking, and she had no idea what I
oh,
was
you've
talking
never
about.
been exposed to that. I guess
No.
you didn't go to high school as a boy,
No,
so
I didn't. No,
it's a
no,
bit
no.
different. We've all done it, probably.
If you've got secrets, why would you leave cryptic messages for people to like clues? It's so fucking stupid.
Spicy,
Well,
bro.
it's not.
Oh,
it's-
you reckon they're like, ooh, haha. Like
yeah, catch me if you can.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
status thing,
Yeah.
right? Like, yeah.
they yeah, but wouldn't that? I just feel like they'd be 10 steps ahead.
But I don't think it's like Lady Gaga being like, ooh, leaving breadcrumbs. It's more like Donald Trump said this, but he's secretly trying to tell all his diehard followers, like, yeah, these are the people that are cannibals.
Meet
and
me
they're
at
like,
Arby's.
oh, we can read his messages.
So
I think
so
that's
there's
kind of more the dynamic where like he knows about this bad group, and he knows that Lady Gaga's part of it, but
Wow.
nobody else does. Only Trump, because he is the hero.
This is the first I've heard about celebrity cannibals. Is that an actual
Same,
thing?
I have no idea.
So how long
apparently.
has this been around? The finger thing, right?
What's the and I think this has been around for a while, and this could be like a real thing. What's the thing where they torture children, and it's like the
Primary school.
no
like
no it's
Satanism?
yeah, but there's a real thing where they torture children and then like either eat or drink their blood or something.
Adrenochrome. all that weird shit.
Adrenochrome.
Adrenochrome.
So it's like that same sort of circle, you know, adrenochrome, cannibalism, that kind of shit. So and that like where do those things come from? Those rumors. Is that shit real?
How does that shit even like you got to ask yourself, how the fuck did people fall into Scientology? That's fucking mental. So
don't know
if
much
someone
about it, so-
like Tom Cruise can become a Scientologist, which sounds like if you look at the Scientology law, you're like, this is so fucking stupid.
Yeah, but I feel like humans just need a story.
Yeah, yeah.
That's all it is. And so they find a story that suits what they need.
Yeah, that's fair. So if that works for some people, then humans eating other humans doesn't seem so far fetched, you know?
So the adrenochrome, does anyone know like more about it? Do
I've
you know
never
what-
even
think
heard
it's
of
I think it's,
It's
a part of
very
the
scary.
I think it's a part of the pineal gland when someone's under duress. When you're under
Hell
duress,
yeah.
you obviously release the cortisol and that adrenaline. And then if you take that and then insert it into yourself, it's like a crazy drug.
Yeah.
So
So,
why
apparently they
children?
torture
Oh.
children because it's only children that do like produce high amounts of this
I
shit.
think as you get older, the pineal gland, your third eye, they call it, in between the shrinks. So younger children's would obviously be a lot larger, maybe the size of an olive. Ours is probably the size of like a
Little
So
race.
they
caper,
torture
like a
and
caper or
kill
something, yeah.
kids to then extract
This
this
is
stuff
actually a
and use
thing.
it as a drug. Well, we
Well,
don't know.
As it's much a thing as Lady Gaga eating a finger. You
Yeah,
know?
right. Okay.
However, but like, you know, yeah, dark web that shit. There's like, yeah, you can
And the
buy.
yeah, and the like
meat.
the thing that, and this is probably also to do with people that aren't of rich status just needing something to hate people that are rich, like thing where they think, oh, these elites, this is all they do.
Hmm.
And like there is obviously factual things where people reach a status where nothing excites them.
Yeah, because I'm like
Because they
can
super
buy-
rich
Next level
now.
again.
They can
I'm
buy
tired of
anything and
regular
everything.
human
Yeah.
things.
That's when hedonism
Time to
comes
get
in.
some
More
real like
extreme.
alien shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then they go more extreme and more extreme. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Just because they can and no one else has access.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
and
crazy.
it's the only way to
You
find
need
a
some
thrill.
sort of high. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Did you guys ever probably not read, but did you guys ever watch Hellraiser, the movie, the
No.
original?
Nah.
There's a book as well. What was it called? It wasn't called Hellraiser. It was called I think it was Sleepy Boy.
That was a dog, if anyone
But-
could hear
I
that.
don't
A
think I could
snore.
hear it in the
It wasn't me.
microphone.
That
But the
wasn't a
dog
butt.
snoring in the background.
In this book, there's like a different realm to hell, and the way to get there is you have to unlock this ancient box that this guy who made puzzles in Italy back in like the 16 or 1700s made, and he sold his soul to the devil or some shit. And if you unlock it, it basically opens up a gate to hell, and these creatures called Cenobites, they come through and they're like torture you for eternity, and they tell you, we're going to torture you so much that eventually pain will become pleasure and vice versa, and you'll just get lost in both. And there's this guy who had done everything with his life. He had been to every country, slept with men and women, climbed every mountain, abseiled, bungee jumped. He did every thrill seeker to the highest degree, to the point where he felt nothing anymore. And he heard about this box. So when he takes the box, he gets pulled in, and so he escapes from hell in the book, and then it's a whole thing. His family's involved, but yeah, I imagine.
That would be the
Yeah.
level of thrill seeking.
Yeah,
Now,
just
here's an
being
interesting
torn
one.
apart for eternity, and then
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, so here's this puzzle box, right? Yeah. And if you solve it, your prize is, well, you get to get tortured. Where's the value in that? What do you mean? I don't understand.
Where's the sell?
Well,
I
like,
mean, I'm not seeing
Okay,
it.
Sell it
I
to
have
me.
to solve this puzzle. I have to solve the puzzle. That's already.
I don't think you
sure.
know you're going to be tortured forever.
Right,
You don't know.
okay,
Yeah.
you don't know.
But here's the thing:
Ah.
imagine having your nerves completely fried, where you feel nothing. You can't smell anymore. You can't taste anymore. You don't feel. Maybe you feel, but you don't feel. You could just stab something in your leg and be like, "Oh, not as much as I wish. Just being to the complete limit of
Just numb.
excess to
But you can see how in
Better
that,
to feel
in
being
that,
pain.
tortured. Being
in that
tortured would be
experience, if you couldn't feel anything and the only thing that you could feel was pain, you'd end up loving pain.
exactly. Yeah,
Because I
Rather
feel
feel
it's
something
just
pain
a
than nothing
feeling.
at all.
Yeah.
pain
You
and
guys
pleasure.
have never been through an emo phase, and I can
Exactly. I was about to say
Brother.
that's heavy metal emo stuff right there.
Yeah.
If you say it with a screamo voice, it works really well. Rather
Yeah.
feel pain than nothing at all. you know?
Yeah.
But here's an interesting one. What would be, without like going, okay, I've experienced everything, but what would be the craziest thrill that you could imagine? Like if I said
Could
you have to
imagine.
do the craziest, scariest thing.
You've seen that before,
Ever.
Pinhead.
I've seen
yeah,
it.
the Halloween kind of guy. Yeah, you've seen that. That's
Yeah.
That's
yeah,
hilarious.
right.
Oh, that's this little prize
Yeah,
box.
that's the box.
There it is.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jeff, you go first.
Craziest thing. But like everything scares me, right?
So what is the pinnacle where you're like, I would never ever do X?
I can tell you off the
Okay,
top
Joel,
of my
go
head.
first.
Trying to, even if they created a foolproof, no issues submarine that can go to the depths of the ocean, I'd never do it. The
Really?
ocean frightens the fuck out of me. Those black depths, no, I'm staying away.
Wow.
Yeah, okay. See, I was thinking more like Saw 2, the needle pit, where they throw the gallons that needle pit.
Jesus.
Oh, no way, dude. I will just kill myself now. Fuck that. I'm not going in there.
Yeah, but we're not talking about
Ugh.
getting tortured and dying. We're talking about something
Exciting,
that's like an
thrill-seeking
activity
stuff.
that
Yeah,
people
yeah.
do for a thrill. But
Skydiving would scare the shit out of me, but then like to make it like even spicy, like skydiving with like a burning parachute, that would be kind of spicy. I'd fucking I
Why-
hate the
why are you
shit out
putting
of that.
yourself
now
in
we
these
got to do.
situations?
We got to talk real. So like my thought was like the free climbers,
Oh
Oh,
yeah.
okay,
Free
yeah,
solo.
Yeah, okay.
no harnesses,
Nah.
little fucking
Yeah,
rock.
that's gross.
Ugh.
I can't even
Heavy
watch that
too.
shit without my palms sweating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh
Have you
no,
seen
hang
the
on a
free
second.
solo yet?
I've got it.
We should
No.
watch it. It's very good.
Ugh.
It's the fucking cave exploring.
Oh,
The and then they go into these tiny little.
Yeah.
They're like pulling themselves through, and like to the point of like they're like scraping rocks and stuff so they can slide through.
so
I'm
their
like,
hips will fit through.
that's telling you that that's too small for you to be in there, brother. You
Uh.
don't need to scrape those rocks. You need to get the fuck out.
that's a different level of claustrophobia.
Level up from that though, cave diving. That is
Cave diving.
that is one of the most dangerous
It's the
things
same
you can
shit.
do.
Yeah.
But underwater, and then you don't know where you're going.
Oh,
It's like where's the up?
yeah.
Do you know what I'd like to
No.
do if I went to like Scandinavia, one of those really cold Iceland, Greenland, is when they get maybe 10 meters and they put a hole in the free. It's so cold that everything's blue. It's got that bluish
Yeah.
hue and hole, and then they tie the rope and then the hole, and you jump in and you gotta go under the water and then come out in the other end.
Stuck under
I'd
the
love
eye.
to do that. That'd be
You'd love to do
a
that.
rite of passage, like skål, you know.
But I reckon the cave diving, that's one for you, Joel. That's like pinnacle. That's like above the submarine.
Yeah, no, that's
Yeah.
terrifying
That would
because you've just got some
Hardcore.
hazy yellow light in this pitch black water, and you're like feeling around in a
And I have
cave.
limited oxygen.
Yeah.
And that is that's where you find like the most fucked up stories because people do that in like groups and pairs.
Yeah,
But
but
there's
I'll
stories where,
watch
like-
people do it. My hands are literally like sweating. I don't really get like super sweaty hands when I'm like nervous, but I was like, oh man, it makes me so anxious watching
I
these
actually
people.
think cave diving has got one of the highest like mortality rates
For
Yeah,
it.
of
people
anything.
still do it. It's
extreme
fucked.
sport.
People do
Thrill
it,
seeking.
and people like there's stories where probably many stories where you're doing it with your buddy, and then they run out of oxygen, and he's in front of you, and you're having to push his dead body through the
Ugh.
caves to get out yourself.
Damn.
Yeah, so you're expending more like energy and
Yeah.
oxygen trying to like, no.
Imagine if you
fuck,
got to a
no
point
way.
where it's like shoebox thin, so you had to force his body through, and then yours.
he gets jammed.
like,
You're just cooked back there. No, this is
That's
the,
why you
this is
need
the
Lady
oxygen
Gaga.
mask.
Yeah,
I'm
again,
first.
yeah.
I'll
That's-
pop my head through, and if there's time,
Yeah.
I'll take your wallet with me. Whatever, that's fine.
That's why you need Lady Gaga there to eat half of the corpse for you, so
Yeah.
you can
Yeah.
factually fit.
I'm gonna need to chew through this leg.
yeah.
You guys seen that doco about the Thai kids that got stuck in that cave?
No,
Yeah,
never
I haven't watched it, but yeah.
Oh yeah, it's
What is
really
it?
it's really good. It's really intense.
Did
it was
they
like
survive?
14 Thai kids, and they go into this cave, and then big torrential rain, and it starts filling up with water, and they can't get through anymore. There's a massive operation, and they end up going diving to them, like literally cave diving, where they had to take their tanks off to get through crevices. Like that's how small they were. So the tank has to be like behind you, dragged along instead of on your back.
Nah.
But they dive through this, get to them, and then it's a race against time because the cavity that they're in is gonna run out of oxygen. So like there's slowly just less and less oxygen. And the way they do it is they literally sedate every single one of them and one by one put a mask on them and dive them through. And it's real intense, but like it's crazy that all of the kids live. There was a casualty though, but it was one of the divers, like one of the rescue guys.
And that's like the shit thing is like people like have to risk their life to then get people out. It's like, whole
Another
thing,
reason
nah,
not to have
caves.
children.
Let's just not have caves. Like,
Don't put your children in
canceling
caves.
caves.
Yeah, teach them not to go in fucking caves.
Mm.
But that's intense, man. Like it was a long cave, so they had to like pop out halfway through.
And they set up camp at some point. Like was that this one? There's like a point where they have to set up camp and then go carry on.
No, they just have to pop up, check all vitals and shit because like a doctor has to go backwards and forwards because they're sedated the whole time. So then they pop out in this little bubble, check everything, and then go back under. And like the last kid they did, he was so small or something that the mask was almost not fitting around his head
like
properly.
water
So
was
they got to
getting
make
in?
sure there's no water leaking in and shit.
Because I remember seeing like a kind of like a map. It was like kind of like a, from the side view of like what this cave would look like.
Yeah.
And here's the plan. And then, these people go here and then they'll set up here and then go down and then it's like.
Yeah. I think there was a one like
like a
middle
schematic
cavity where there was
thing.
actually.
So it was kind of like
people.
an ant farm kind of.
Yeah. And I was like,
You
wow,
little
this looks
fuckers.
intense.
But they
This
had
is
no
not a
idea.
quick
They were just
rescue.
like, oh, we know about this cave. Like you can walk through when it's dry, but these torrential rains
Oh,
weren't stopping.
so it wasn't all crawl. You could walk through it as well.
Yeah. Oh, well, they would have crawled through little spaces, but I don't know.
But they're tight, it's whatever.
They're small.
Just another day at the Sheen factory, right?
Scary, man. Yeah.
Do you know what was scary?
Like, 3-4 days or something? Yeah. It's
You know what
crazy.
was terrifying? The tunnel rats during World War II. These US soldiers had to like go into these tunnels, which were like habitats for the Viet Cong and the what is it, RVC or something. These guys would go in there with the flat, and they're usually shorter guys. So I'm afraid if I was in Vietnam, they'd make me fucking do it. But I think these dudes are maybe like really short, like 5'6", 5'5" dudes, and they go in there with a flashlight and a pistol, crawl through, avoid traps, stick their head up. There might be like a Vietnamese dude coming towards them. They'd have to shoot each other and come out the other end somewhere. It was mental.
Imagine if you're crawling through and then there's someone stuck in there and they've
Yeah.
died. Like, what do you do then?
Yeah.
You got to back out?
Yeah. But
Stuff that.
yeah, these guys are mental. Absolutely mental. Vietnam, like I know every war has crazy shit, but Vietnam was fucking crazy,
Like
dude.
the flamethrowers and shit.
Yeah, bro.
Oh, that was brutal, eh?
Napalm and shit.
Oh, and just dude, there was mountains in Vietnam that are flat now, leveled. I think they were dropping mega tons of munitions every day, napalm and bombs and stuff, like literally leveling mountains. It's crazy.
Humans are gross, hey?
Oh, it's
Humans are
terrifying
disgusting.
what
Americans
we're
see
capable of.
this and think, hell yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh, shit.
yeah.
Did we get to yours? What was your extreme thing
Yeah.
that you
It
would
was-
never do?
No,
Cave-
we didn't
cave
get to
diving.
yours. We
Yeah,
didn't do
I
yours.
No, mine was the free climbing.
Oh, of course.
No
Sorry.
harness.
Yeah, I think mine's probably the cave diving.
Cave diving.
Yeah.
Well, if it wasn't yours.
The free
The
climbing.
free climbing is probably mine also.
Mm.
Then second to that if I'm saying something else.
So if you guys
Okay.
had an opportunity to go into a foolproof, 100% proven, no issues submarine down
I'd do it.
No.
I'd do it.
And same for space. I'm not going up there.
I think
space shits me.
it's like
scares me too.
Yeah.
because I saw how long with the Titanic thing, how long they were in that for.
Yeah.
I think like just being stuck somewhere, like I can't sit on a plane for hours because I'm like I'm bored and I'm
Bro,
itching
that was sitting
to move.
like knee to knee. It was so fucking awkward.
That ocean gate,
Mm.
like we thought they were stuck down there. That was a horrible thought, but they weren't stuck. They were.
No, but the
they were
actual
crushed.
journey, like if everything went
Disintegrated.
according to plan, going from top to bottom, it was like still it was like a long
No, thank you.
A
time.
few hours, right?
Hey?
It was only a few hours, right?
Weren't they
That
down there for
sounds
about 5
horrible
hours
to
or
me.
something?
What's that?
5 hours, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah, like a 5-hour descension. No fucking way. Like I'm sitting on a plane for like it was 1.5 hours coming here, and and I was like, "Oh my god, I need to move."
Yeah.
Nah, if it was James Cameron and I was like, yeah, and he was like, let's go. Do you want to come on? I'd do it.
Yeah.
Just circle jerking in the submarine. Hell yeah.
Another reason
The reason I
why
say James Cameron is because I think he did like the most extensive research with the people
Yeah.
that went down to the Titanic.
and he was
Yeah.
opposed to the Ocean Gate. He was like,
Yeah,
no, this isn't
exactly.
going to work. But I think a part of my imagination plays on my mind as well, going to those depths. Like, what kind of creatures are down there that we haven't seen?
Have you heard stories?
Krakens,
Yeah.
megalodons, fucking some weird thing.
Have you heard stories about that stuff?
No.
Because there's like deep sea construction workers. Because if you're building like those oil rigs and stuff with the
Like mermaids
Oh.
and shit, dude. They've seen like mer creatures.
Nah, but they got like the big fucking weird like helmet suits and shit like that. And they're down there.
Welding.
Yeah, and they're down there, and there's like a lot of pressure, very dark. And this one guy tells this story where he apparently sometimes you do feel like things are touching you, but you're like, and then there's nothing there. But he reckons like one time he could feel something behind him, and it was weird, and then he felt it touching, and he turned around, and he just saw this giant like creature, something. So similar, he's thinking like Kraken, like big,
Humanoid or aquatic?
no, big octopus thing,
Oh.
like something. But he reckons it was like, as soon as he looked at it, he reckons he was like paralyzed. Like it was like, it had him in a trance. And then it was like this long time where he was just staring, and then it just like faded and disappeared. And he was like, oh shit. And came back to and was like, all right, I guess I'll keep working.
It flosses in front of him and then leaves. It's like, it's like later.
But there's some, there is creatures down there that we
Have
got.
you guys seen like
That
a
is-
blanket
no clue.
octopus?
No.
These are, you need to Google this at some point in
Do
your
what,
lives.
sorry?
The blanket octopus. Because, I teach kids, so look at animal facts and stuff. What do you want to learn about? Octopus, cool. Not just any regular one. Let's find something cool. Blanket octopus, brand new to me. This is an amazing looking creature. We're getting a picture now.
Yeah.
Look at this. Oh, she's gorgeous.
Oh yeah, with like
It's got like a kite, kind of like
webbed
a,
fingers.
Oh.
somewhat of a blanket.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah, and they're like colorful and
Do they
shit.
do they
Yeah,
move like a ribbon in the air? Like, is that how they swim?
Yeah, I'm guessing so.
Did they do the one where they like pop themselves into an umbrella and just catch their prey, and then? Oh, I think all octopus do that.
I
Actually,
don't know.
My God, that's
But like,
looks like it looks like one of
Oh, that's
Godzilla's
gorgeous.
enemies. You know?
It doesn't look real, right? That's like
Yeah.
that's a very alien creature.
I think like
yeah, and
even-
that's how he described that thing.
but like even
underwater.
like a
That's terrifying.
cuttlefish, they're like very
Yeah.
well known, but they
Yeah.
like glow
yeah,
on the bottom
any
and
kind
look
of
really
like
cool.
cephalopod
Yeah.
is like a weird thing.
Yeah.
Which
Well,
I think translates to head legs.
we've
which is,
discussed
you know,
octopus and how we think they might be extraterrestrial. You and I.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah, there is theories like that because they reckon it's just so far.
yeah, with like
removed.
3 brains or whatever,
Yeah,
3
yeah.
hearts or whatever they have.
And
They
so
could
far
be
removed
just as
from-
intelligent as us as well, but
Yeah, so they reckon that maybe asteroid DNA mixed
Yeah.
with something else, but I guess that's just so much speculation because if we're talking billions of years of something
Mm.
changing and evolving.
And that's the thing, like scientific understanding changes as we get more information. So it's like we can't explain something yet. So it's probably alien.
This is what
Mm.
blows my mind, Jeff, is like when I was growing up, I thought history was like set
This
in
is
stone
fact.
facts
Boom,
because
yes.
like, yes, we have observed
Yes.
this is how it
Right.
went. Turns out it's not. People
Yeah,
are making history
Because
up as
we
we go.
used to call it scientific fact, and then it changed to current scientific understanding.
Yeah.
Because that's our current understanding based on the data that we have. But that's also open to changing as we collect more data over time. And now we're like, oh, that actually what we thought is not so current. And this new data suggests otherwise. So that's the direction we're going in. So when you read like old textbooks, and it's like, that's old way of thinking. So you can't take that as fact because that was what we knew at that time, but that's changed now.
Mhm.
So I think that's like, it's really cool that we acknowledge that as humans, that we don't actually know everything yet. We're still learning.
But now that we've had that period where we can now look back and go, oh, we were wrong about this, and now we've acknowledged it. Now we have to approach everything that we're finding now, and we want to go,
Yeah.
this is fact, but we have to go, oh wait,
Yeah.
in 50 years' time, that could be proven completely
What this
otherwise.
suggests is XYZ, but like, I
I
don't want
suppose
to.
you just have to wait and see about Lady Gaga and nibbling on fingers.
Yeah.
then.
That's right. Yeah,
It's
yeah.
just a matter
Then
of time.
autopsy, when she passes away, they open
Yeah.
her stomach and it's full of fingers and
Yeah.
like
Fingernails.
Like
all right,
acrylic
okay,
nails.
Yeah. Caught red-handed.
we got you.
It's
But
like
she's dead, so it's too late at that point. So.
with the progression of understanding of new things, it's kind of like being in school and a teacher's like, show me how you figured this out. So you show the work and it's just like scribbling of different
Yeah.
things.
Yeah,
It's
you
a-
might get it wrong, but well done on like the method you
Yeah, I can see
Yeah.
the justification. It makes
Yeah.
sense that was your thinking. So I was like, oh, I might not have considered that. So I'm like,
Turns out
You'll
that's
get
how
marks
science
there.
works.
yeah,
Can I
The
just-
beautiful thing I like to
prove it.
the beautiful example I always like to give is like the germs one. When people started saying, "Oh, there's like small things that are germs and they can kill you," and people were like, "You're fucking crazy and a lunatic," because they didn't have like microscopes and shit. And now everyone knows about it. Whereas back then we had a completely different understanding of life. Like they just thought, "Oh, the plague spread because God hates us."
Yeah, you got ghosts in your blood. Just do some cocaine about it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Do
yeah.
some cocaine about it.
Can I
exactly.
just bring back to the deep sea engineer? Like I just imagine black, and then he's got this tiny little thing, and it's just illuminating this fucking face. You'd never go in the water again.
Mm.
Whether it did harm to you or not, I'd be like
I think
pulling my.
Yeah,
I'd
fact
get
that
the
it-
bends. I'd get the bends
Yeah.
and die because I'm just like, get me out of here.
It's
you
a
know?
proximity thing. That thing exists in my proximity.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
oh, that thing exists somewhere else in the world, whatever.
Did you ever
But
watch
it's like,
Courage?
Oh yeah,
It's
if
an
you
image.
have to come face to face with it, and I'm imagining
Yeah,
that little light, it wouldn't light up far, right?
yeah.
So it would just be
Your whole
seeing
field
like
of
the,
view
the
is-
silhouette
yeah.
kind of thing, and
What
just
was
being
that
like, "What the
thing's
fuck?"
intentions? Why was it? Could it see through him? Like, was it intelligent?
I
Like,
reckon if it is a giant like octopus and how clever they are, I reckon the thing was just curious.
Mm.
So it's
Yeah.
like, what's this thing
It's
doing?
not
And it would
in
have touched
my-
him with
it's
like
not in
one
my
of its
realm of
tentacles and been
knowledge.
like, what is this little creature?
Oh.
And he would have turned around and then,
just a baby.
Mm.
okay, bye.
Like you've seen dead whales washed up, or even some sharks, and they've got those massive lacerations on their head.
Yeah.
And some people are like, oh, they could have banged into a propeller in a submarine, or a shark could have attacked them. But some of them aren't very conducive to teeth marks or anything. So they think it might be giant octopus, just
Yeah, we know those squids exist, like the ones that,
those big red ones.
yeah, the big red ones.
They,
Like,
find,
we know
they
that.
find the beaks, right?
No,
They
I don't think
wouldn't
so.
be red. I think they change color when they come up. But
Yeah. And then because red is the first color you lose in the spectrum as you go underwater.
yeah.
So
So you-
red
Why?
goes first. So as I think it's like 20 meters or something. I don't know. Don't quote me on that because
That's why underwater footage always
Could
looks
just
like
be a
bluey
white blur.
green.
Yeah, you put a
Yeah.
red filter on it to bring the color back because as you go down, like the first color you stop seeing is like red, and then it'll be like other colors of the spectrum until it just goes pitch black.
I didn't know that.
It's
Good
terrifying.
guy.
Yeah, thank
I might have made it up. I don't know.
That's all right. I'm
Well,
taking
you are a
Sounds pretty
teacher.
good, right? Yeah.
Do you know what else might be made up? Which I don't know. Did we find the answer eventually? But the statement
Oh.
was if you're exposed to darkness for long enough.
Okay.
So if, let's say you were
Russian
stuck in a
sleep
cave,
experiment.
stuck in a cave, but you have all the supplies that you need. You have air, water, food.
Okay. Yep.
If you're exposed to complete darkness for long enough, you'll go blind.
How long are we
blind.
talking here, roughly?
I don't know.
Like
That's what we were trying
Because
to find.
Yeah.
when you're re-exposed, this would be like a Schrodinger's cat kind of deal. It's like, because it's pitch black, I don't know if I'm blind, but the confirmation of blindness only occurs when you are then exposed to light.
True.
So then is it the light?
Is it temporary blindness?
Yeah, is that
it
light causing the
permanent?
blindness because it's so a sudden shift?
The only real experiments we could find were baby kittens. If they are put into darkness as they're babies, then they stay blind or
yeah, for
I'm
a certain
blind
amount of
for a-
time, and then it comes
takes
back
them way
again.
longer
Because
to
there's some
regain
sort of
their
like
vision.
connection
Yeah.
in the brain that hasn't been developed because it hasn't
Yeah.
needed
Yes.
to.
Yeah.
So that makes sense to me, the development, but would a fully developed human, if you
Who's
stuck
already
us,
undergone that process
Yeah.
of like the brain creating those like pathways.
it may take some time to get your vision back, but maybe we wouldn't lose it completely,
That
Yeah.
was it. That was the consensus on Reddit.
Yeah.
so I
true.
don't know
Yeah.
how.
Reddit. Yeah.
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 accurate
Reddit's like
that
our new
is.
Wikipedia, those
Yeah.
fucking weirdos, you know?
Yeah, if I Google something, I'll just add Reddit to the end because I'm like, I don't want just an article that tells me their one-sided,
I don't want to know
very
fact.
skewed view.
Yeah.
I want someone actually discussing, and then they'll be like, "Here, read this. Boom, boom. Here's this evidence based on like what I'm saying here," and it's like a discussion. It's cool because these guys are fucking nerds sitting
Yeah.
behind their
Oh,
computer.
yeah. Yeah. They've
I'm
done
like
the research.
Their accumulation of like knowledge here. It's like it's cool. I like reading Reddit.
Hell yeah.
do enjoy adding Reddit to the end of my searches just to see, okay, what do the butt cracks of the world think?
Reddit's my favorite. Honest to God, I only use Reddit for book reviews. Because
Oh,
I find like if there's a novel series that I like reading or there's a book that I'm considering reading, I'll go onto Reddit and look up summary or spoilers, and I'll probably read the first 2 paragraphs. And if it sounds good, then I'll go, okay, I won't read anymore, and I'll get the book on audio or
nice.
Audible, or I'll actually go to Dimmicks or something. So,
Well,
yeah.
for everyone listening, you can probably, or if you're watching, you can see we're in a new place. We've just bought a barbecue, so we're about to cook up a feast.
Hell yeah.
So we're going to leave it there. But Joel, you need to look up some scary underwater stories because there's more stories. Like there's stories of these workers that go down, those little underwater pods, research pods, people that work on those. And I think the way, if you have to go to the toilet or something, you have to go down into the water and just go in the water.
Yeah.
And there's stories like that as well, where they go in the water and because it's at night, as soon as you turn on the light, all these little fish are everywhere and like going at it. But one of the stories is like he turns around and there's just like this giant eye just looking at him of like a very, very big something.
Oh,
Hey, you got to look some up.
that's not our
But
territory.
You did end up getting that in the caves as well, diving through the caves.
Like
Like who
weird-
knows what's down there?
Like some kind of fish that hasn't been able to see daylight, so it's not our territory. I respect the ocean. I respect its inhabitants, and it's not our territory. You know, I like the fact that we are a species that can swim. Like I like that we are masters of practically everything.
Yeah,
I think humans are remarkable creatures, but it's like, if
We could, but we choose not to. No, thanks.
Yeah.
That's not mine.
yeah, I'd like it if I think in the future, if some hopes for humanity, and we can end on this if you like, is maybe some form of gill that isn't too ugly on our appearance, and also
It doesn't matter. If everyone had it, it wouldn't be classed
it'd be
as
the
ugly.
norm. Yeah. I think the biggest thing for humans that we desperately need is like a stronger resistance to radiation. That'd be
Mm.
nice.
Well, I mean, that's our planet doing its work there with its magnetic field, trying to
Yeah.
protect ourselves from that sun.
Yep.
All right.
Any remarks from anyone? Any quotes to finish it off?
Inspirational quotes.
No.
Something
Inspirational quotes.
something you would tell
R.
your
Kelly
8-year-olds.
once said, if you can dream it, you can do it.
Boom. Thanks for listening. Let's get that Weber
It's if he's
fired
a
up.
rapist.
Yeah. What is it? It's like the wise gangster poet Ice Cube once said,
Yeah.
"If the day does not require my AK, it is good."
Woo.